Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today with us is Abhimanyu Gupta, sir. So he is Master in Statistics from ISI, PhD from Ghent University, having experience in both academic and industry. And he's an award-winning faculty, full-time mentor in data science, AI, and machine learning. And currently, he's teaching and guiding students from both BS, MBA, and all the kinds of thing in data science and AI ML in a School of Business and Lewis University. So, sir, thank you for coming to this podcast, and I hope that our talk is going to benefit all the data science and AI community there. So, thanks again for joining this podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. One quick correction. I'm
Yes, sir.
still working on my
Yes,
PhD.
sir.
I have
Yes.
not finished my PhD yet.
Okay, sir.
So,
Thank you, sir. So, sir, apart from starting with the thing, since you have experience from both industry and the academia, so like most of the students, especially the beginners who are trying to get into the data science industry, they're worried about the future of the data science. They think that data science is not going to be there enough in the world because a lot of automated things have been started in come up in the picture. So, sir, what is your view on the future of data science, AI, machine learning in business, in academics, or industry?
sure. So, I will compare this situation around with the situation around 20, 30 years back
Hmm,
when the computers came up.
hmm,
You know, everything changed at that point of time, and all companies started using computers to store data, to retrieve data, to process the data, and they used
hmm,
computers extensively in the operations.
hmm,
Initially, there was a boom. Everyone thought that this is it. This
hmm, hmm.
is what is the hottest thing, and it stayed hot for a very long time. But after that, what happened is, I mean, it became kind of saturated. So the computer did not go away, but the boom went away,
Yeah.
right? So the high demand went away. I would say that with data science and AI, um, it will happen in a very similar fashion. That right now there is a boom,
Hmm,
right now there is so much of demand, and everyone is looking for opportunities in the data
hmm,
science
hmm,
area or the AI or machine learning area. That high demand is going to go away maybe next, I don't know how many
hmm,
years, but maybe 5 or 10 years. But after that, it is going to stay because it is a new way of doing
hmm.
things. I don't know if I should call it a technology or something else. Probably it's technology. Um, so just like any other technologies that stayed, it is going to stay because clearly there are a lot of benefits in having or applying those things in the current market in our companies and the operations. But that high demand is going to go away eventually.
And sir, since you talked about the demand, so like that I have been observing since I don't have a very lot of experience in data science industry, but yeah, so I can see that there are different kind of things in data science, like data analytics is one part, AI and ML is the one part. So most of the company are means most of the company inclined towards the data analytics field because they have a huge amount of data. Still lot
Right.
of companies are means they are not using core AI ML to automate the things. Most of the company are in the data
Correct.
analytics part, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
Correct.
hmm, yes sir, you want to add something?
Yes, sure. So machine learning and AI, the problem with those two, not problem,
Hmm,
but the characteristics of those two is that they solve very specific problems,
hmm,
and they are kind of inclined towards engineering,
hmm,
like self-driven cars and the chatbots and all those kind of things, like
hmm,
face
hmm,
recognition and whatnot, right? So they solve very specific problems, but they do it very well. Basically, we automate something that we never thought we would be able to automate.
hmm, hmm,
For example, we always thought that driving a car is a very manual,
hmm,
very
hmm,
multi-dimensional kind of work,
hmm,
but we are slowly going towards a point where the self-driven cars are going to be mainstream,
hmm,
you know. but it has a very specific problem to solve. Whereas data science is very different from that. Data science is about discovery. There is a lot of data.
Hmm.
What information is hidden in the data? What we can find out. So data science is more kind of discovery, where a person comes and does a lot of research to find out um, what is there that
What
we did
inside
not
the
see.
data?
Exactly, that we did not see before.
Hmm.
What are the hidden
Hmm.
patterns and things like that? So data science is more manual, more research and development, whereas AI, machine learning are more engineering.
Hmm.
Data science is more open. It can solve many problems, but AI, machine learning, they the solutions solve very specific problems. However, they are very related to each other, but
Hmm.
these are the two extreme applications
Hmm.
of these two fields. Data analytics comes in the middle,
Hmm.
where it has the flavors of both data science and artificial intelligence. It has a little bit of engineering aspect of it, because many a times the companies want to automate some of the
Yeah. Yeah.
data processing
Hmm.
related things.
Things.
But at the same time, it has a discovery flavor as well. So you can say that data analytics is somewhere in the middle, and data analytics is something is um, uh, that is more relevant to the organizations and the businesses. So that is how I look at those three
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And sir, since you talked about the data science, data analytics, and AI ML, so most of the people who are currently not have started doing things either industry or academic are confused like ki, what should they pick? Should they go into
Right,
data
right,
science, data analytics, or AI ML? And most of the time, people think that ki all the works are interrelated. Means most of the time, people think
right,
that ki
right,
data science is all about AI ML and not about other things. And same thing for data
right,
analytics. So, like, what
right.
should people keep in mind while starting their career in data science industry, or maybe in the academic also? Should they
Okay.
choose to go towards the data science or analytics or AIML or anything?
See, the first thing is to build the
Hmm.
foundations. I mean, you cannot um, build a lot of things if you do not have a strong foundation.
Hmm.
If you want to sustain for a longer time, you need the
Hmm.
foundations, right?
Yeah.
And fortunately or unfortunately, the foundations, the two most important foundations of data science are mathematics and statistics,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So what happened is, I mean, the way I look at it
Hmm.
is that mathematics is here for last 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Statistics is relatively new, like last 200 years or so. But there are two different purposes of math and stats. Sometimes people confuse between these two
Hmm.
as well, but there are two very different purposes of mathematics and statistics.
Hmm.
However, when the computers came, and when we have automated processing, then taking the principles from mathematics and statistics and empowering them with a lot of computational power,
Hmm.
that actually made data science data science.
Yeah.
So the foundation stones are data science, like, I'm sorry, the foundation stones are mathematics and statistics, but on top of that there is computational power, there is coding, and those kind of things. But ultimately the purpose is to solve business
Yeah.
problems. So there are various aspects of this. Now, if someone who is trying to build their career in data science should always um, spend a lot of time learning mathematics and statistics, because the point is this: data science is more research, as I mentioned
Hmm.
before. And if you want to do research, you need to know the topic in
Depth.
full depth,
Yeah.
right? And um, without mathematics and statistics, what happens is, I mean, I have seen people that I know machine learning, I know coding, I know XGBoost, I know random forest,
Hmm.
I know k-means clustering, but by I know, what they mean is they know how to do this. They
Yeah.
don't understand why
This
we
way.
are doing it this
Yeah. They
way.
know the code,
And
ki how to code, write the
they know
code.
the right, they know the how to's, but they don't know the whats and the
Yeah.
whys. But it is very important to know the whats and the whys, because otherwise, uh, you won't be able to figure out what to apply when,
Hmm.
right? So if I tell you, for example, that this is the data, and fit a support vector machine model on this, probably you will be able to do it. And by you, I don't mean exactly you, but someone who is new to
Yeah.
this field. But why a support vector machine is being fit in this data is something that you need to understand, because otherwise, I mean, you are just following instruction and you just know how to do this and that without knowing uh, the inner details, the whys, why I'm doing
Hmm.
this and how it is going to help me eventually.
Yeah. So, so what should they means start with? They should they means yeah, foundation is the most important thing. If people should build a foundation, whether they want to go in data analytics, data science, or AI ML, is the statistics and mathematics that I also have felt over the years since I switched from computer science in BSc to
Hmm.
masters in applied statistics. So I felt ki to go into data science, more statistics is more rather than the code. So it's exactly how you told ki people actually understand that ki knowing algorithm means knowing how to code, but that's not the thing. When
Correct.
a problem comes, most part is related with the data. Like how do you figure out which things to use and why are you
Correct.
using it? In the business also, you need to explain why this particular thing is working, why that particular thing is not working.
Correct.
And obviously, since let's say we are talking about some simplest algorithm also, regression analysis also, then you have to figure out why this particular variable is responsible for that particular thing, not why that combination of variables. So it's all
Correct.
comes when people build foundation in the maths and statistics. Obviously, to
Correct.
understand the statistics, people should build a good background in mathematics, especially for linear algebra, optimization, calculus, and all those things. But yeah, so I would really like to know that how should a student who is actually trying to join data science industry, means I'm talking about in general data analytics, AI, ML, everything. So how should they build the foundation? Like what should they start
Right.
focusing on? And this is most
Right.
important questions because since you have been teaching this particular thing over many years, so what is according to you will be more useful for those students?
Right. So probably it's going to be a little longer answer. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
First of all, I don't want anyone to come to a field just because it is hot right now in
yeah,
the market,
yeah. That's important.
right? I want people to be excited about this topic anyway.
Hmm.
For example, I want people who are excited about mathematics and statistics
Yeah.
to come and consider having a career in data science, not the
Hmm.
other way around. So you just don't arrive at this, you just decide that I will do something in data science and then you start taking courses. Probably it's not going to take you very far because you are not excited about these topics.
Yeah, and I think
And
most people do this way, like they realize that okay, data science
yes,
is hot right now. A lot of
yes,
people are getting a lot of
yes,
high packages, and that's why they are start doing it. And eventually,
exactly,
they are going to leave it at any point when they realize that okay, this is no more fun because they did not pick for the fun.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And who knows, for example, with the current situation of computers and networks and
Hmm.
everything, who knows that tomorrow cybersecurity is is not
Yeah.
going to be the hottest job, right? I mean,
Hmm.
probably they are going to give people better salaries and everything. Who knows that cybersecurity or something very similar is going to be hotter than data science or AI or machine
Yeah.
learning.
Definitely.
No one knows about it. But
Hmm.
my point is, first of all, you need to be excited about mathematics and statistics and maybe a little bit of coding anyway. You should be a self learner because data science is a topic that is still emerging, it is still developing. And an inside fact is that I, when I teach in my
Hmm.
university, I do not use a textbook for
Okay.
teaching data science.
Hmm.
And the reason for that is that I don't find a textbook that is up to date and that covers all the topics that I wanted to cover in one book.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, right? So, and the reason behind that is that uh, it is still emerging, it is still developing. It's not like economics or
Yeah.
accounting, right?
Yeah.
Where people have thought about it so much. Um, it's not developing anymore. Probably it's developing, but in a much slower rate
Yeah,
than data
and
science.
I think also that most of the development has come in last 5 to 10 years.
Of course, of course. I remember some of the machine learning algorithms that we talk about. I specifically remember XGBoost. I believe XGBoost came, which is one of the very
Hmm. Yeah.
hot algorithms right now.
Mm.
I think XGBoost came in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. So you can see how new they are and how quickly they are being popular. Tomorrow something else might come,
Mm.
and that will override everything that we know. So learnability is one of the very important factors if you want to um, be in the data science field. So first of all, you should be excited about math and stat. Second of all, you should be a good self learner, because it is still growing so much and you need to catch up every time. And I think these 2 points are kind of related with each other, because until and unless you are excited,
Mm.
you won't be able to motivate it to learn new things. Sometimes when I have free time, I just study new things. That is my hobby. That's because I like this subject,
Yeah.
because I'm excited about it. So, and then I learn new things, and then I think about how to incorporate that topic in my syllabus of for
Mm-hmm.
in the university.
Yeah.
So that is how I think it works. That you should be excited about it. You should be motivated enough to self learn things. You should keep going, and that is how it works. So 2 points. One is you should be already excited about mathematics and statistics. You should know about these two fairly well, and then on top of that, you should be excited enough to be able to learn by yourself.
Yeah. And sir, like the way you explained this thing, so like most of the in since first point I would like to give is here is that many university has now come up with lot of data science and ML courses, a lot of universities in India also, in foreign also. So, but yeah, the thing is that most of the people use the textbook, and I think you figure out the right point key. Your textbooks are not up to date, and since one textbook is usually not enough for all these things.
Correct.
Let's say people want to go in data science and they are interested in about maths, statistics. So a terms come up like they want to know that how much things is enough. Like obviously, in the if there is new resources are coming up, they have to anyway cope up with the new things. But for as a beginners, like how much things in the stats and maths is enough to get started?
Well, you need to know the basics. I'm not asking you to, remember formula and everything, but you need to know the
Hmm.
concepts. For example, let me tell you something very basic. Your first thing should be to figure out what is the difference between mathematics and statistics.
Hmm.
That is where you should start. Well, I'm not telling you the answer right now because it's going to take a long time,
Yeah.
but you need to understand things. I mean, linear regression, for example. Um, how the line is drawn in a scatter plot.
Hmm.
What what is the concept? What is exactly happening here? Um, Everyone can see that a line is drawn, and we can use a line for forecasting purpose
Hmm.
and things like that. But how the line is drawn? Um, the what are the concepts behind that? you know because, and the reason why it is important to know the concept is that the other algorithms, those might be the extensions of the same concept. So
Exactly.
you need to understand. So for example, logistic regression is an extension of linear regression.
Hmm.
But until unless you know linear regression, it might not be a good idea to learn logistic regression,
Hmm.
because again, you might know how to code and how to run on a
Hmm.
particular data set, but you might not know why you are doing this.
Hmm.
Similarly, the ridge regression, lasso regression, there are so many
Hmm.
variations of regression. These are all improvements over linear regression.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the bricks over bricks. I mean, you build a wall,
Yeah.
you first lay one brick and then another brick and everything. So that is how we should do. So um, um, my answer. So I'm going back to your question now, that how much is enough.
Hmm.
So take any fairly good statistics book and read it, solve problems. understand what is going on, and
mm,
take a fairly good algebra book, calculus book, and it does not have to be the PhD standard
yeah,
book,
yeah,
but you should know the basics. You should know the what is differentiation, what is integration. You should know what is standard deviation, and or what is a p-value,
mm.
um, those kind of things. You should have the basic concepts clear, and then you should start reading from there.
Yeah, and sir, the way you the thing that you explained here is what I also found intuitive. So when we were in college, in IIT Bombay in MSc Applied Statistics, so there are a lot of subjects, like a stochastic process and all those things. So
Correct.
a stochastic process was one of the things that we thought ki where is it used? Like as a college student, we were not able to figure
Correct.
out. But when I came to job and I had to work on a project related to reinforcement learning, then I came to the term Markov chain. Then I thought ki okay, this is the thing where it is actually used. So
Correct.
whatever we are in think in college is due to the knowledge that we have at till that time point, but all the things are very much intuitive. In fact, I think data science is one of the things where theoretical knowledge are more used in the industry rather than any
Yes.
other industry. So whatever all the things that we run, maybe the graph, maybe the all of the things, everything has been being used in the data science industry. In fact, k nearest neighbor is a simple algorithm, but yeah, I was working with the graph algorithm and I used to have a K-NN graph. So I thought, ki, okay, this is the same thing that is coming right here. So this is how exactly things happen. Ki
Exactly.
small things make the things better, bigger in the next run when we come to the job or other things that we are actually used to solve the problems in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, sir, like many people, so since you talked about that, the data science is hot right now, and that's what most people think, and many people from other sectors, actually, they may be interested in data science also. They want to come in the data science field. So, how should, let's say, a non-tech person, eventually, like if a person has a MSc, MTech, or masters in any particular field related to AI, ML, maths, or data science, they are having easy way to figure out how to get in the data science. But let's say any person who are not into the technical knowledge, technical things. So, how should they plan to get into the data science? Obviously, they should have to develop interest in the maths and stat. But yeah, talking about the non-technical person, like how should they plan
Got
the
it.
things?
Got it. Now, when it comes to data science, there are two aspects of data science. One is the science aspect of it, and the other one is the art aspect of
Hmm,
it. Science is more like machine learning and those kind of predictions and those kind of things,
hmm,
where we do not do much. We just build a machine or an algorithm that takes care of things
hmm,
for us. Whereas before that, there is an art component. And by art, I primarily mean that any analysis using, let's say, data
hmm,
visualizations. So, and that is very common. I mean, everyone understands the language of data visualizations. I mean, you say something to someone that will be understood, but if you show something
hmm,
in the form of a data visualization, it will be understood
hmm,
better, usually. Um, so that is the art part of it. So now think about it. Um, you are given the job of an analyst, um, and you are given a data set. Find out what is going on, for example,
hmm,
and you start creating data visualizations and interpreting them, and trying to understand what is going on. What are the usual and unusual things
hmm,
that we are seeing in the
hmm,
data, right? Um, but this particular technique is also very, it can be very powerful if we have a right approach.
hmm,
Usually what we do is we have a data set, and when we are supposed to create visualizations, we just randomly choose some of the features, some of the columns, and start seeing what is going
hmm,
on.
hmm.
So for many people, these are mostly trial and errors.
Yep.
But there can be many ways to come up with an approach where the the data visualizations can be created faster, or the better or more useful data visualizations can be created,
Hmm,
right? So that is the art of it. And it there is no science or math in that. It is mostly experience
hmm,
and domain knowledge, and the common sense
Yeah.
sometimes. I mean,
Creative
those kind
thinking.
of things, creative thinking, of course. So I would, for non-technical people, I would suggest that they should start from there, from data visualizations, like from simple tools
Mm,
like Tableau or Power BI,
mm,
and start working with the data. And at the same time, if someone wants to, stay here,
mm.
stay in the data science field for a longer time, then there is no escape from mathematics and
Yeah.
statistics. So at the same time, they need to start building
Foundation.
their foundation in that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, sir. Yeah, this is the way I think also people should start. They should start with by developing a sense about the data, and then they will eventually have the interest to figure out the things uh,
Correct.
ahead of them. So, sir, many student who are in college right now, and yeah, internship is the something that people use to do in college to gain experience. But the thing that I also recommend people to do is the project. So there
Right.
are two projects. Either they can do projects under some faculty, which is always recommended. But yeah, most of the people are in the self project also. So
Hmm.
how should one plan the self project? Like if obviously, first of all, they need to choose a good data set only, but it's not like using any classical data set. That is, I think most people are working on classical data set, like maybe predicting house prices. So how people should make like plan ki what are the steps they should take to make plan a good project, self project that actually
Right.
matters, that actually matters. Yeah.
Right. Um, while self-learning, it is always a good idea to pick up a project
Hmm,
that was done by many people before.
hmm,
The reason is that, I mean, if I'm doing something and if I know that many other people have done this project
hmm,
before, then I can always find out what they have done.
hmm, hmm,
What was their thought
hmm,
process? Is it similar to how I am thinking, or I can learn a few things from their thought
hmm, hmm,
processes? So some of the dummy projects that has been done, performed by many other people,
hmm,
I think that is how we should start. We
hmm,
should. It's just like the I'll take an analogy.
hmm,
It's just like the mathematics problems
hmm.
that we used to solve.
Yeah.
We used to try to do it ourselves. Then
Hmm,
we used to see the answer later on,
hmm,
right?
hmm, hmm,
So it has to be that way. And one of the great places um, to collect data and to pick up projects is Kaggle. Probably we already know this,
hmm,
right? If you're into machine learning, participate in competitions, and not only participate in competitions. If you're interested in machine learning,
hmm,
predictions and things like that,
hmm,
participate in competitions. But not only that, try to read what the other participants are doing.
hmm,
Try to find out. I mean, there are discussion boards and blogs and others notebooks you can
hmm,
see. So you try it yourself and then keep reading on what other people are doing, and whether that makes sense to you or not, whether you're learning something from these people or not.
hmm,
And the same thing applies for the beginners, like non-technical people that you talked about
hmm,
as well. Don't go to competitions because that might be a little more advanced for you. But there are various data sets available in Kaggle too, and people share
hmm,
data
hmm,
sets and they ask various questions. There are different notebooks there as well. And don't worry about the notebooks if you're not familiar
hmm,
with coding. Just look at what other people are saying about it, what they have done. There are, again, pick a project and pick a data set for which there are a number of discussion boards and blogs and everything. You try it, you put a thought first, and then you go back and look at what others are doing, what others are talking about this. And it can be as simple as a data visualization
hmm.
project as well, but make sure that others have done it, they have put some thought in that, and those thoughts are shared openly, so that you can go and check how far you have come compared to the other people who have done it before.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think this is the best way to start also. Like if we see the other people's work, we actually like able to see ki how the things can be done. Like especially for data visualization, because I find a lot of Kaggle notebooks that has done a very, very great work. So it's like
Correct.
by seeing those people on those data set, we can also visualize like on our data set that we have started to work on what kind of things that we can done to find a beautiful insight among all this data.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you brought up a very good point that
Hmm.
uh, do not focus too much on the
Hmm.
tools
Hmm.
itself. Rather focus on what the data is telling you.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't absolutely do not mind if a project is done completely
Hmm.
using Tableau or Power BI or even Excel,
Hmm.
as long as you are able to create right visualizations and you are able to find information
Hmm.
that is not visible
Hmm.
in the naked eye.
Yeah. And I think this is all about the idea. Like idea is important, execution always can be done in any other
Yes,
programming language or other
exactly.
tools. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so since we talked about a lot of things related to how a beginner should start, how should people move in their career. So I like the questions, the last question that I want to talk about is about the journey. Like, how should one plan their data science journey? So, starting from job, maybe let's say some people is doing data in the industry. So, how should they plan the things? Like, should they be only in the industry? Should they start also take some other courses, like do some think about a PhD or some advanced courses at later point of time? So, how should one plan their data science journey over a long term?
So, are you asking about getting a job or after getting a
Yeah,
job? How
after getting
we
a job.
one after getting a
Hmm.
job? Okay. Um, I don't think any degree in
Hmm.
data science is mainstream yet. I mean,
Hmm.
definitely you can start with an undergraduate degree in data
Hmm.
science. There are a lot of universities
Hmm.
are
Hmm.
offering
Yeah.
that. But even if you do not have that, I don't think you need to worry
Hmm.
because data science is one of the topics, as I mentioned before, that it is
Hmm.
still developing, still emerging,
Hmm.
and nothing is standardized, nothing is streamlined yet.
Hmm.
It's just not that um, in order to be an economist, you need to have a PhD in
Hmm.
economics. It's not like that
Hmm.
because things are very new. Everyone is trying to figure out
Hmm.
how to do things of that. So um, there is no specific course, no specific certification, no specific degree that I can recommend that
Hmm.
will put you in
Hmm.
in that journey.
Hmm.
Rather, right now the way it is more self-learning. So what I suggest
Hmm.
is once you have a job of a data analyst
Hmm.
or data scientist or something similar,
Hmm.
um, keep learning, keep doing
Hmm.
projects, push yourself. Um, and you mentioned about this before. Do creative thinking.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Try to come up with things that no one has thought about
Hmm.
before. It's more of a research and development. Once again, it is not a production process that you are making a coffee
Hmm.
or rice, right? I mean, it's research and development. You're doing trial and error, and um, just keep trying things. For example, I have seen this before. Um, and I am working with an organization right now, and they had been using only Excel for forecasting.
Hmm.
And then I showed them how to use more advanced techniques to make more accurate
Hmm.
predictions, right? Like ARIMA and those kind of
Hmm.
things. So look at the current processes in an organization and apply your knowledge to try to refine it,
Hmm.
to try to bring in something new that the organization will get the benefit out of. And that's how you should do it. Once again, it's more of a trial and error
Hmm.
journey. There is no layout laid out path for
Hmm.
this yet. So you should focus more on learning yourself and applying them, doing trial and error, doing more research. It's okay to fail. If it is okay if something does not work,
Hmm.
try another thing, try the next thing, and so on. So I think that is how it should work, because you need to make a difference, and it's applicable not only for data science jobs but
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
any jobs,
Yeah.
that you need to make a difference, right? And this is the way to make a difference, that you need to have creative thinking, and that creative thinking will come when you have a strong foundation in mathematics and statistics. And then you will be able to solve problems in a much better way, and that will add value to an organization, and that will help you grow in that organization as well.
Yeah. Yes, I think you added a very good point to end this podcast. It's all about having the interest and learning over the long term that actually we should implement. And obviously, it's not like data science is definite. It's about since most of the resources are coming right now, so it's good to be updated. And I think it's the only way to keep yourself up in the long run in the data science industry. So, sir, thank you for joining me with the podcast. I think it was most valuable time that I could think of till now that I have talked with you, and I myself learned a lot. So, thank you for, sir, giving your busiest time to us, uh, and thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you.